We started the winter's man, Tafshin Pei Hey, Hilchas Krias HaTorah. As the Olam mentioned, expressed their excitement, it's Moiridik Negeya. Somebody just mentioned right before, it's Negeya tomorrow morning. It's Negeya Monday, Thursday, Shabbos in the morning, Shabbos by Mincha. And the emes is, we're coming off, less than 2 weeks ago, we came off a whole tkufa of Yom Tovim. Most of the Yom Tovim was last month, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres, we had Chalamoid Kriya, we had a Tainus Sibur Kriya, Rosh Chodesh, all the different Krias. The Makoir for all the Krias is all in the Mishnah. Mesachtas Megillah, Dina Dashas, already in the Mishnah. B'Torah's Hakdama, I would like to focus today's shiur more of an overview. Who is Mesakin all these Krias? Who is Mesakin? So let's begin with the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi in Mesachtas Megillah, Zok the Yerushalmi, Moshe Rabbeinu was Mesakin Hiskin es Yisrael Shiur Koirim b'Torah, that Klal Yisrael Shalein b'Shabbosais u'b'Yom Tovim u'v'Rosh Chadashim v'Chalamoid. Doesn't list everything, but Zok the Yerushalmi, Shabbos, Yom Tov, Chalamoid, and Rosh Chodesh is a Takanah for Moshe Rabbeinu. What's about Monday and Thursday and Shabbos Mincha? So the Gemara Baba Kama, the Gemara says, so the Lashon HaGemara, the Gemara says that Ezra Sofer was Mesakin 10 Takanahs. 2 out of the 10 Takanahs, Zok the Gemara, 2 of them, one was Monday and Thursday. The Krias HaTorah of Monday and Thursday was Ezra. And another Takanah that Ezra Sofer made was Krias HaTorah of Mincha, Shabbos Mincha. So if you stop right here, it's very clear, very mesuda. Shabbos morning, Yom Tov, Chalamoid, Rosh Chodesh, Moshe Rabbeinu was Mesakin. Monday and Thursday and Shabbos Mincha, Ezra Sofer was Mesakin. However,
Rosh Chodesh is together with Moshe Rabbeinu?
Yeah, as the Yerushalmi lists Rosh Chodesh as well. It's interesting, the Yerushalmi says the Makoir is from a pasuk. Though Pashas, it's not the Raisa. The Bach says it is the Raisa, but the Lashon Yerushalmi, Shinem Avayidava Moshe Mayadi Hashem al Bnei Yisrael. So Lamaisa Rosh Chodesh is Ikri Moed. Shabbos is not Ikri Moed, but I'll go upon him. But it's clearly the Yerushalmi says Ubechayil Shal Moed. So Frek the Gemara and Baba Kama, you're telling me that Ezra Sofer was Mesakin Monday and Thursday. Frek the Gemara, it was already a Takanah mi Moshe Rabbeinu. Zok the Gemara, Ezra was Mesakin, v'ha mi Korah have a Mesakin. No, the Gemara brings a Bais state when Klal Yisrael went out of Mitzrayim over through the Yam Suf. State Nachum v'yelchu in the Torah Shloishes Yom B'mid, they went 3 days. V'loi matzu mayim, Dorsher, Shumas, that v'loi matzu mayim, mayim ala Torah, to say they went without Torah, and Memela, Amdu Neviim Shebeineim, it doesn't say particular Moshe Rabbeinu, Amdu Neviim, and they were Mesakin, that they should be Krias HaTorah Monday and Thursday. The Lashon HaBach in Hilchas Purim, Zok the Bach, Amad Moshe Rabbeinu was Mesakin, but Al Kaponim, Monday and Thursday wasn't from Ezra. It was way before. It was Ma Moshe Rabbeinu. So Zok the Gemara Enochanami Taka. The Takanah was really a Takanah for Moshe Rabbeinu. Even though the Yerushalmi doesn't list Monday and Thursday, we'll be marchav more in the Yerushalmi soon, but Monday and Thursday was also Moshe Rabbeinu. However, Ezra Sofer expanded in the Takanah. Either it was 3 psukim and he made it into 10 psukim, that's what we have now, it's 10 psukim, and it was one aliyah, one person was oila, and Ezra Sofer was Mesakin, 3 people are oila. Sure, that's what Ezra Sefer was Moisef. And then the Gemara says, weiter, also legabe mincha, that was klor at Takanah Ezra. That's klor. And the Gemara explains, because there were those that didn't make it out into the city b'chlal for Krias HaTorah. So Mela, for those people, Ezra Sefer made a new kriya of Shabbos Mincha afternoon for the people that are not going to have Monday and Thursday. It's not going to help to go 3 days without Torah, but Lamais, it's extra Krias HaTorah.
Ezra was masakin how many psukim you had and how many aliyos you have, or that was...
So the Gemara brings both. The Gemara says, Inami, two pshatim in the Gemara. The Gemara says, Bikara tiknu chad gavra, one person, 3 psukim. Inami tlase gavra, even bisman Moshe, there were 3 people. In other words, Zicher, Ezra Sefer made it from 3 psukim to 10 psukim. The question is, did he make it from 1 person to 3 people also? So what do we have? So the Vailu we have, before we go into the Shilas, now very Mesuder. Shabbos, Yom Tov, Chalamoid, and Rosh Chodesh, Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin. Monday and Thursday, also Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin. Ezra Sefer expanded on that Takanah. And then there's also a Takanah Ezra of Shabbos Mincha. In the Mishnah Megillah, the Mishnah of Chafalov goes through the minyan or aliyas, and the Gemara later explains why each day Yom Tov is 5 and Yom Kippur is 6. We're not going to go into it. The Gemara explains reasons for each one. The Mishnah goes through each of the amounts, how many aliyas are per kriya. So Rashi says, when the Mishnah lists that Monday and Thursday there are 3 aliyas, Zokt Rashi, the kriya of Monday and Thursday, Zokt Rashi, Ezra tikkun she'akoyrim bebeis v'hei. Zokt Rashi in Megillah, when the Mishnah says b'sheni u'b'chamishi b'Shabbos these Krias HaTorah, Zokt Rashi, Ezra tikkun she'akoyrim b'sheni b'chamishi. Frekta Maritz Chias, why is Rashi saying Ezra was Masakin, Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin Monday and Thursday? Klar. He brings the Lashon HaRambam. It's really the Gemara that we saw. The Gemara already says it, but the Rambam spells it out clearly. The Rambam says, this is really a sikum that we have so far. Moshe Rabbeinu tikkun she'akoyrim Torah b'Rabbim. When was Moshe Rabbeinu's Takanah? When was Moshe Rabbeinu? Where was Moshe Rabbeinu's Takanah? Zok the Rambam, Perik Yud Beis Melchas Tefillah, Shabbos, Sheni v'Chamishi. Why? Shlo Yishu Shlosh Yam B'lo Shmias HaTorah. This is all Moshe Rabbeinu. And then he says, Ve'ezra Sefer tikkun, that you should also learn Mincha b'Shabbos, and also the Monday and Thursday, Ezra expanded. What's Rashi saying? That Ezra was Masakin, it wasn't Ezra, it was Moshe Rabbeinu. And the emes is, this exact same question, the Mogen Avram, right here, we started learning Hilchos Krias HaTorah, the Mogen Avram asks the same shaila on the Rif. It's not a shaila on the Rif, it's a shaila on the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi that we mentioned before, the Rif quotes the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi, as we mentioned before, says that Moshe Rabbeinu is Masakin, Shabbos, Yom Tov, Chalamoid, Rosh Chodesh. But then the Yerushalmi goes weiter. The Yerushalmi says, Ezra, Hiskin li Yisrael, she'akoyrim b'sheni b'chamishi. The Sheni b'chamishi should have been in the list early with Moshe Rabbeinu. Narvas, Ezra expanded on the Takanah. So the Mogen Avram, if you want to call it matche or answers, that the Yerushalmi, the Rif says that Ezra was Masakin Beis Vehei. It doesn't mean the Iker Beis Vehei. The Iker Beis Vehei, Avad Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin. Nor Vos, nor Ezra was Masakin, because Ezra expanded on the Takanah. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that he Be'etzim was Masakin. Avad Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin. This that it says that Ezra was Masakin, he expanded on the Takanah. Rav Moshe Negros Moshe says the same thing in the Yerushalmi. This is the Magen Avram that's going on. The Rif is the Yerushalmi, because the Rif is quoting the Yerushalmi. Just to explain it a little bit, I was a little bit bothered that Lamaisa, who made the Takanah? The Takanah was Moshe Rabbeinu. How did the Olam understand? Ezra made the Takanah? Moshe Rabbeinu made the Takanah. Tomorrow we're going to lane. Who made the Takanah? Tomorrow, Thursday, we're laning. If I ask you who made the Takanah that we shall lane, Moshe Rabbeinu made the Takanah. We're laning because Moshe Rabbeinu's Takanah. Why 10 psukim? Why 3 aliyahs? To say that's a Takanah's Ezra. But the Ikar Takanah was Moshe Rabbeinu. Now the emes is that the Ritva in the beginning of Megillah, he's not addressing, I don't think this Shaila, but the Ritva says the Yesod, he's speaking about the Gabi Megillah, Daf Bais, not negated to go into the Sugya, but the Ritva says a few words like this. Zok the Ritva, Avada Nevi'im Rishayim like Tikkun Elat Lasa Psuka, like we saw. But Zok the Ritva Moiri de Gezach, that because it was such a, call it a Shvacha Kriya, it was just 3 psukim and maybe even only one person, it didn't really take off. At Kedei Kach, the Taka, the Bnei Akrach never came in during the week. It was Taka Moshe Rabbeinu's Takana. But it didn't, the Krias Ulaisa Chashuva Baineim, there was a Takana, but it didn't really, if you want to say it didn't take off, it wasn't, so they weren't machshav it so much. Till Ezra Seifa came and made it 10 psukim with 3 aliyahs, and then already became a chashivas. So Mamela, that's the pshat why it says that Ezra Seifa was masakin. However, it's Takanah's Moshe Rabbeinu. But Lamaisa, Lagabi this, Moshe Rabbeinu's Takanah didn't take off fully. Ezra Seifa that enhanced the Takanah to make it the 10 psukim, and it did take off. Mamela, it's called Takanah's Ezra, not Takanah's Moshe Rabbeinu.
Must have not said Takanah. And Moshe must have not said Takanah. If it said Takanah, it would have been very...
Yeah. The same Yesod, and the Magen Avram himself brings it, the Bach asks this same question that we asked on Rashi and we asked on the Rif. The Bach asked this question on Tosfos. The same thing Tosfos and Bracha says, that Ezra was masakin the Krias HaTorah. Bais v'hei. Ezra was masakin. Frek the Bach, what do you mean Ezra was masakin? Moshe Rabbeinu was masakin. Agav, the Bach is going in Hilchas Purim that every Kriya is a Kriya midoiraisa. It's a Torah Shebal Peh. It's halacha l'Moshe Messina. Moshe Rabbeinu gave it to us, but it's doiraisa. That's the Bach. But Al Kapanim Zok Magen Avram that it's the same Yesod. This that Tosfos says that Ezra was masakin. Avad the Moshe Rabbeinu was masakin. Narvas, even though Moshe Rabbeinu was masakin, we call it Ezra because Ezra was enhanced it, added, expanded on the Takanah. Just a small ha'ara that this teretz of the Magen Avram that answers the Rif and answers Tosfos, the doesn't answer Rashi. We started off asking the kasha on Rashi. Rashi also says, Rashi that Ezra was masakin Bais v'hei. So the Shah says Ezra was masakin, Moshe Rabbeinu was masakin. L'maisa, you could say the same thing. Avad Moshe Rabbeinu was masakin, but Ezra added on. L'chayru, you can't say that in Rashi. Because if you continue in Rashi says, Ezra tikun shiur koinen b'sheni b'chamishi, v'hacha ashmiina on the shloishen koin levi Yisrael. It would seem, l'chayr, what we're saying is, ki'ilu it's mashma, that the first chelik is Ezra. How we're saying up until now is that Ezra only added on what he added on. That's the end of Rashi. Rashi already in the beginning says the whole Bais v'hei is Ezra. L'maisa, v'ha'emes nitin lehi omer, that the Meretz Chias as well as the Rashash learn that the Yerushalmi argues on the Bavli. The Yerushalmi argues, and the Yerushalmi holds that the Kriya of tomorrow morning, the Kriya of Bais v'hei, is a Takanah Ezra. So there's a machloikis Bavli and Yerushalmi. The Bavli that we learned the Gemara in Baba Kama understands that the Takanah of Bais V'Hei is the Takanah Mimois Moshe Rabbeinu. The Yerushalmi says Mefurish that it's a Takanah Ezra. You could be Miyashiv, it only means the extension. But the Rashash says no, it's a Machlokes Bavli Yerushalmi. That's what he says. He says Rashi that says Ezra's Masakin, he's going with the Yerushalmi. He just says, why would Rashi leave the Bavli, go to the Yerushalmi? So before going weiter, just to be Masakim over here with a Klarkite, to go through all the Krias HaTorah, B'siyata D'Shmaya, Shabbos morning, Yom Tif, Chalamoid, Rish Chodesh, that's Klor Takanah from Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe was Masakin. Monday and Thursday, in the Bavli it's clear that it's as well Mimois Moshe, maybe not Moshe Nevi'im B'zman Moshe, but Mimois Moshe, that's Klor. In the Yerushalmi, you can learn two ways. Either you can learn like the Bavli, that Beis V'Hei is also Mimois Moshe. You can learn that Beis V'Hei is only a Takanah, it's later Takanah Ezra. Then we have the Krias HaTorah of Shabbos afternoon, Mincha, that's Klor, L'kulei Alma, a Takanah Ezra, as the Gemara brings in Baba Kama. Let's go to a few other Krias. There's the Kriya of Purim of Chanukah. Now the Kriya of Purim of Chanukah is Zicha not at Takanah Moshe Rabbeinu. Purim happened later and Chanukah happened later. Purim is possible to be a Takanah Ezra, because Lamaisa Ezra was right at the time or right after the time of Purim. Chanukah is Zicha not at Takanah Ezra, because Chanukah was way later, about 200 years after Ezra HaSofer. But Al Kapanim, all this is all in the Mishnah. It's Medina da Shas, Medina da Mishnah, as well as also the Krias HaTorah of Atainus. So far I didn't find yet exactly Gabe Atainus, but it's Klor, it's in the Mishnah. What'd you say?
One says Takanah Sagamora.
Takanah Sagamora?
Says not
That shtickle Sifkat and Aleph over there? That's Nichlal, that's L'chayr Nichlal on the Tainus. But then I want to be Moisef one Moira de Gezach. So we have over here different dargas of when the Krias happened. From Moshe Rabbeinu, Ezra HaSofer, Chanukah was later. But then there's a Moira de Getoisvis. And this is, we're coming off now the Yom Tovim, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres. Besides the Krias HaTorah, that the Yerushalmi says it's Takanah Moshe Rabbeinu. If you remember, we took out two Sefer Torah. We're going to be learning about it. There's many halachas. That's Hilchas Krias HaTorah. The second Sefer Torah, it was a Krias HaMafta, the Karbonos. What's the source for that? Zok Toisvis, that's not even Dina da Shas, it's later, it's a Takanah HaGoinim. As Zok Toisvis, Takanah HaGoinim, later, after the Mishnah, after the Gemara. And the reason Toisvis explains why why. I'll read the Gemara later. The Gemara says that Avram Avinu told the Rabbi Shalom, but Me'eda, how do I know that there's not going to be another Mabul, Klal Yisrael is going to be Chayta? So the Eibusha said, what do you mean these Karbonos? So Avram Avinu said, and what's if there's no Beis HaMikdash? So the Eibusha responded by saying that you say the Karbonos, Umayla Olav Ki'ilu Akrivim, you have the Kapara. So B'meila, Zaktoisis, that's Pshan and the Takanah HaGoinim, to have the Krias HaMafter. So we spoke about who was Masakin. Let's try to be Mavara now in the Takanah of how many Aliyas. Monday and Thursday we spoke about, that's Klor Takanah Ezra, that these three Aliyas, that's Klor. It could be even if we Moshe, we said 3 Psukim, 3 Aliyas. What's about Shabbos, Yom Tov, these different amounts, right? The Mishnah says Shabbos is 7, Yom Kippur is 6, Yom Tov is 5, Rosh Chodesh 4. The Gemara explains Rosh Chodesh 4 because he's Musaf, Yom Tov is more Makodesh because he's Issa Malacha, Yom Kippur these Karis, Shabbos Skila. Where did all these amounts come from? Zok Magen Avram, it's all from Takanah Moshe Rabbeinu. Magen Avram. It's a Tasant, he's a Tshuvas Moshe, he brings us Magen Avram, he says, Minalon. But the Magen Avram says that Moshe Rabbeinu was masakin the amount of the Aliyas also. It was mentioned earlier, I didn't see it inside, but l'chayra it's a klora hechrech to say that the amounts of Shabbos and Yom Tov was Moshe Rabbeinu. Listen, l'chayra it's pashut like that. If we're explaining, we said earlier that Bais v'hei, what's the Takanah Ezra? Why is it a Takanah Ezra? Because Ezra came and made the amount of the Aliyas. Al Karchach, by Shabbos v'Yom Tov, that it's different, Muzayin, that Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin. But Al Kaparim Zakta Magen Avram, that Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin, the amount of the Aliyas, Shabbos, Yom Tov, Chalamoid, and Rosh Chodesh. It's interesting, the Shulchan Aruch Rav, who's later usually quotes the Magen Avram, Shulchan Aruch Rav only brings Shabbos and Yom Tov. He doesn't bring Rosh Chodesh and Chalamoid, that Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin. We'll focus for a minute or two on the Kriya of Shabbos. Shabbos is 7 Aliyah Zok the Magen Avram in the Takanah Moshe Rabbeinu. Shabbos morning to lane, Moshe Rabbeinu was also masakin 7 Aliyahs. And we know the 7 Aliyahs is a Kriya in the Torah. It's different than Yom Tov. You read the Parsha of Yom Tov. Every week you read in the Torah. Where do you read in the Torah? Yom Tov is clear what you read. You read Sukkot, you read Pesach, you read Rosh Chodesh, Yom Kippur. What do you read? What do you read on Shabbos? So you read in the Torah. So the emes is that these different minhagim. Now the minig across the board is to lane. You split the Torah every single week, a different parsha. That's the minig. But you have to know, starting from the Gemara says b'ma'rava there was a minig to read the Torah. It took 3 weeks to cover a parsha. If you take a look in the Chumash, just look at the end of the art scroll Chumash when it lists out the psukim of the end of Parshas Vayechi. So it says how many psukim and all the different cheshbonis, how many parshas, the Parsha Yosef Yud Bais, 12 parshas. Then afterwards he said the Sedora of Mem Gimel. What's Sedora of Mem Gimel? Bereshis is made out of 43 Sedarim. Tosheis, it's split up into more than just 12 parshas. So the Gemara says that there was a minig b'ma'arava to read. They finished the Torah every 3 years, and the emes is that this minig was still going on in the times of the Rishonim. The chinuch in the mitzvahs asay the raisa of Zohar. So the chinuch speaks about you need it every year. You have to remember it. You should do once every 2-3 years, 1 or 2-3 years. And zok the chinuch v'harei, we read the Torah and we cover the whole Torah minimum once every 1 or 2-3 years. The Rambam says, the Rambam says that what we do is we read the Torah, a parsha every single week. Haminik haposhet, zok the Rambam, b'chol Yisrael, that we finish the whole entire Torah every single year. However, the Rambam fears us, just to bring out the Isra, the Yeshem Ashlim Masatayr b'sholosh shanim. There is a minig. The Rambam brings still in his days, in the Rishonim, there was a minig. So the Yisrael is like this: Moshe Rabbeinu was masakin a Kriya Shabbos morning, Takanah Moshe, 7 Aliyahs, and the Kriya is a Kriya in the Torah. Now, Lamaisa, what we do is we read every single parsha, every week another parsha. that wasn't from Takanah Moshe. There was actually a minhag to read a whole lot less than a full parasha. One last nekuda, and with this I'm going to conclude. We spoke about all the different Krias. More or less we covered who was Mesaken. Krias Shabbos, that's a Kriya that Moshe Rabbeinu was Mesaken. He was also Mesaken, like the Magen Avraham says, 7 aliyahs. Now, we said that some finish the Torah every 3 years. We're noyig every year, and we split it up 7 aliyahs. How do you know what to split up the 7 aliyahs? You open up a chumash. Sheni, Shlishi, Revi, Chamishi. Zok the Goyin and Meiser Rav. They bring that the Goyin B'chalal didn't go with the Revi, Chamishi. He stopped when he was a Peir, a Samach. Or Lafia Inyan. Uba Safa to this. The Minchas Halaza, the Minkasha has a whole tshuva. He brings this Goyin. And he expands and he says that the emes is that it's b'chlal, it's full of mistakes. He says a mikri dardiki, somebody put it in, but it's lav dafka. He says you see sometimes he's like a revi, that it should have been 2 psukim earlier, later, doesn't have a pshat, and sometimes the revi, the shlishi, ends in a place b'dover loy toiv. Negay just we had now bereshis, lamaisa, it was moved. It's lav dafka, the sheni shlishi revi chamishi. Lamaisa, the minhag in Klal Yisrael is to go with it, though it's interesting. Sometimes you'll be in a shul and epistei stop 2 psukim. Different places have a little bit different minhagim sometimes, but the shlishi revi where to stop is lav dafka. On top of this, the Chaim already brings negei toichacha. If you have a Bal Koira, who's oil at a Teichacha? The Bal Koira. What happens if the Bal Koira is a Koyin? So what are you going to do? So there's no problem. So you read from the beginning of the Parsha straight till after the Teichacha. So the Chaim and the Bir Halacha. Even if it's Parshas Muchabar, it's not always it's together, but let's say it's together, which we like to have Revi to connect the Parshas, you go straight. But Al Kaponim, what I'm saying is to get to Tzura, Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin, Krias HaTorah, Shabbos morning. He was also Masakin, the 7 aliyahs. How to split it, you see even the Takanah people didn't even read one parsha, they split it over a few weeks. One more nekuda, Takanati Masayim B'davar Tov, now with the Toichacha, it's brought that the father of the Toldos Aaron, Toldos HaMitzchak Rebbe, they are Kohanim, the father's a Kohen. So when he got the Aliyah Parshas Yisrael of Matan Torah, it's Shishi. So they made a Hoysaf, and it wasn't Shishi anymore, it was Shvi. He was able to be Oile as a Kohen. And I saw the same also. When I was a Bocher, I went Parshas Yisrael, off Shabbos, I went to Tosh, the Friediger Tosh Rebbe is a Levi. And they gave him the Aliyah of Matan Torah of Shishi. To say they gave Kohen the first Aliyah up until Shishi, and they gave him Shishi. Because you have to see, you can make more Aliyahs afterwards. But often that how to split it to shine, that's lav dafka. These different halachas, which we'll learn avada, not too close to Peita, Samach, these many halachas, how to do it, but the break up and where you get to 7, that's already zichar, not Matakanas Moshe, and not Matakanas Ezra.